Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Thursday, August 28th, 2025. A man was arrested in the parking lot of a Yucca Valley restaurant on suspicion of indecent exposure. On Tuesday, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a man exposing himself in the parking lot outside of Applebee's on 29 Palms Highway in Yucca Valley. Deputies say that the restaurant manager witnessed the suspect exposing himself in the parking lot. Deputies identified the suspect as Jonathan Polkey, 46, and did not provide additional details about the nature of the exposure. Polkey was contacted by deputies and taken into custody without further incident. Jonathan Polkey was arrested on suspicion of indecent exposure, cited and released at the scene. An unlicensed driver allegedly fled on foot from deputies after parking illegally at Yucca Valley High School. On Tuesday at around 11 a.m., a San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy assigned to Yucca Valley High School as a school resource officer contacted a driver parked in a red zone near the school. The deputy said that they contacted the driver of the vehicle, identified as Rolando Hernandez Montez, 19, and found that he did not have a driver's license. The deputy said that Hernandez Montez did not follow commands, and so they attempted to detain him. The deputy said at that point he fled on foot and led a short foot chase near the high school, after which he was taken into custody. Rolando Hernandez Montez was arrested on suspicion of obstructing arrest and has since been released on bail. The High Desert Water District held a ribbon cutting this week at Well 18E, bringing an essential East Side water source back online after 15 years. Reporter Hillary Sloan was there.
The well at Warren's Well site on Crestview Drive has been offline since 2010 due to issues with water quality. District crews completed a thorough rehabilitation, updating controls, fencing, and removing the old chlorine building. They also installed a chlorine generator to improve safety and self-reliance and upgraded the on-site telemetry system along with a new cabinet enclosure. Additional work included installing a new meter and spool assembly. They removed the old wooden fence, modified the existing posts, added new posts where necessary, and installed a new chain-link Privimax fence with gates. They also replaced the wooden fence in the Historical Society section.
My name is Glenn Ware. I'm the production supervisor for the High Desert Water District. So on this east side of town, the east sub-basin, we're kind of limited. We got one other site with 2 wells on it. With this being off for 20 years, it's a blessing getting it back online. Not that the other wells don't end up on this side of town, but it helps move water faster.
The well is now equipped with remote monitoring, enabling operators to track water flow and performance from a computer or mobile device. It also produces its own chlorine on site. Staff say this reduces cost, hazards, and dependence on outside suppliers.
In a, Lord forbid, a disaster, we could still produce chlorine. We're not subject to it getting delivered to us. And our telemetry system uses a radio signal. It would still talk. Our radio system would still work if all the phone lines were down.
Board President Scott McCone reminded those gathered that the site sits at the birthplace of Yucca Valley, on the same spot where in 1881 Chuck Warren and his sons dug the well that became the place we today call Yucca Valley. For settlers crossing the Mojave, finding water here meant they weren't going to die of thirst. The Morongo Basin Historical Society partnered with the district on restoring the site and presented a certificate of recognition to the High Desert Water District for honoring Yucca Valley's origins while ensuring its future water supply. For Z107.7, this is reporter Hillary Sloan.
A free shower and resource event for those in need is coming to 29 Palms tomorrow. Organized by the Morongo Basin Community Coalition, This free event is happening Friday morning at Alamo Laundry on Adobe Road. In addition to free showers, there will be free hygiene kits, clothing, a food pantry, and other community resources. The event is hosted by Alamo Laundry in partnership with Morongo Basin Community Coalition, the Community Action Partnership of San Bernardino County, Reach Out Yucca Valley, Reach Out Morongo Basin, and Wingin' It. The event is tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 6343 Adobe Road in 29 Palms. There will be free shuttles to the event, with pickup every 15 minutes at Wingin' It and the Little Church of the Desert, both in 29 Palms. On last week's episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show, host Gary Daigneault spoke with Clayton Rardin, the recreation supervisor for the town of Yucca Valley. Rardin discussed the ongoing renovations happening at the Yucca Valley Senior Center, saying,
So the senior center, as soon as you enter, there's a lobby space, there's a front desk, bathrooms on the right, offices back into the left, and then you go into like the large room that's used as bingo, cafeteria, dances, all the fun stuff, right? Everything on the entrance side of the big room has been gutted down to the studs, all new bathrooms, modernized those, ADA amenities, office spaces on the other side. Everything's been retrofitted, maximize the square footage for any kind of other programming that the senior center staff needs over there. So it's a really big deal. It's been a long time coming, and we can't wait to get back into that facility. But the senior center staff are currently operating out of the old library, and they've really done a great job of making the most out of that space, and it is absolutely slammed. Even in this like temporary space, they've really made it their own. They're busier than ever. There are 2 or 3 staff members over there almost every day. We currently have 5 and a half days of programming. Or four and a half days of programming. We have meals 5 days a week at lunch. But the town is now operating out of and running the majority of the programs over there.
If a senior citizen living in Yucca Valley wants to find out more about what's going on at the Yucca Valley Senior Club or the Senior Citizens Club, how would they go about doing that, Clayton Rardin?
Contacting the senior center or stopping in. That we have staff there Monday through Thursday, about 8:45 a.m., 9 a.m. until about 2 p.m. And then on Fridays, about 9 a.m. until 12 or 12:30 p.m. Fridays are truncated because the Yucca Valley Senior Citizens Club operates bingo, and that's 80 to 100 people. They're just slam packed. Every Friday.
You can hear their full conversation by listening to the Z107.7 Up Close show as a podcast, available at our website, z107.7fm.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Animal Action League is holding their world-famous drive-through nail trim only clinic this morning from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can have your pet's nails trimmed for only $8 per pet, no appointment necessary. The Animal Action League is located at 62762 29 Palms Highway in Joshua Tree. Remember that this is a nail trim only clinic. No vaccine or microchip services will be offered. The Animal Action League reserves the right to refuse service based on pets' temperament as well as the temperament of their owners. And finally, the Morongo Basin Healthcare District was first formed to provide medical care throughout the region. They work to ensure members of our communities have access to basic healthcare resources, health education, nutrition and food choice, physical activities, and social support. On the Z107.7 Up Close show tomorrow, Community Program Liaison Deanna Anderson will talk with host Gary Daigneault about the many services that the Morongo Basin Healthcare District provides, their history and current operations. Get the latest on healthcare in our desert this Friday at 10 a.m. on Z107.7. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z107.7fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.